is when a senior who has any power or influence over the work, salary, grades, or opportunities attempts to coerce another to grant sexual favors, coercion, or blackmail, that is, giving too little or too much work if one does not agree to sexual favors, offering promotion in case one agrees to sexual favors, removing areas of responsibility if one does not agree, controlling a person's reputation by rumor mongering about their private life.
And and I welcome any inquiry into any allegation and or complaint.
AI, is it something that we should be worried about moving forward? Car washes, is this the beginning of the end for car washes in the city of Brownsville? Presidents, two presidents will be in Texas on the border, and Bond 2.0. It is Tuesday, February 27th, 8:34 a.m. My name is Frank Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Now, I do apologize. I have been um, behind on schedule, per se. Some individuals have been asking when I was going to come on um, because of work purposes, I guess. But finally, it is glad to be back on the tube. And what better way to celebrate us being on the tube than to start off our show with our award-winning segment. You guessed it. And now the weather. For the most part, the city of Brownsville uh, will be relatively cool. We do have a windy and hot day. We will have strong southern winds with some partly cloudy skies. There is a wind advisory that will go into effect until 10 a.m. We do have winds as strong as 50 miles an hour. Also, we should be expecting which should bring cooler conditions to South Texas. Do expect some light rain or drizzle by the end of the week. We do have Sombrero Fest coming up, but nonetheless, the show must go on. But it should be a beautiful day, a beautiful week for the city of Brownsville. More importantly, we do have festivities going on this week, so we hope that the rain and the drizzle is to a minimum. Have you been hearing lately about AI, artificial intelligence? Uh, if you haven't been keeping up um, with the Jones as of late, it seems as if that is where we're going to. If you go to Walmart, you have to do self checkouts. Now, whenever high school students write a paper, they go to Chat GBT. We might have used the software, but it pretty much does everything for you. And it got me thinking: is this the beginning of the end for um, for our normal life? And it's interesting because we have seen this affect many in the music and even Hollywood industry. We see how Tyler Perry, who produces Medea movies, he pretty much shut down his project of $800 million expansion because of AI. If you haven't noticed yet, movies haven't been coming out the way they should. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was saying, don't you remember when they would make movies? They would be like four box office hits at one time, and you would go every weekend to go catch one. Well, now movies are being made through artificial intelligence, so there is no need to spend these hundreds of millions of dollars on these projects when it could be done all through TV, um, through artificial intelligence. We have even Papi Musk comment that he tried to buy a laptop, and because he didn't give consent for AI to have access to his computer, he wasn't able to use it. Again, that is the norm. That is the trend that we will be seeing moving forward. And it got me thinking. Remember, they told us about this. They warned us about machines, the rise of the machines. I think of Terminator, um, of how machines were going to dominate the world. And if we go back, to these movies, even RoboCop, these movies were produced back in the 80s, uh, late 80s, early 90s, and they kind of told us of what the world was going to be like, how businesses were going to turn. Remember RoboCop, where they built this machine that was going to take the place of police officers, and it ended up, harming humans. AI is here to stay slowly. It might take over our jobs. It might take over the way people operate on a day-to-day basis. If you haven't noticed as of late, it's going to get very, very interesting and very scary in the very near future. You and I have seen it everywhere. Every time we drive throughout BrownTown, we always see a sign that says car wash coming soon. It seems as if uh, every spot in town, you see at least one or two car washes, and this has been the norm as of late. The city of Brownsville did recently um, did recently post about them um, having a drought issue, and people commented on there saying, "Drought? What do you mean there's a drought? You're trying to conserve water? You're here telling me that I need to conserve water when everywhere I look, there's car washes?" Well, I would like to talk about that very quickly. We do have here City Manager Helen Ramirez stating that she posted that the city of Brownsville will be having an ordinance limiting car washes, and that is set to go before the Planning and Zoning Committee in March. And it got me thinking. Hey, well, they've already been they've already been used up. What do you mean you're going to limit them? They're already everywhere, right? But when you really take a look at the logistics of one of these in operation, we learn to find that this is a good investment. This past year, I was fortunate enough to speak with a representative that was in charge of medical equipment, medical supplies for doctors' offices, and he's out of the Houston area. And he said, "You know what? We've been seeing a large increase of car washes." I'm like, we have too. And he said, "You know what? That is the best return of investment, because for $1 million, possibly $2 million that the owner invests into this car wash, they'll make that up in, if they're smart, less than a year, possibly two, depending on location and prices, of course." But it got me thinking, how the hell is a car wash a good investment if they're spending so much water, right? Well, no, they recycle their water. They make it to a point where their overhead is minimal, because if you notice, they're not really paying for light. They're paying for property taxes. They're paying um, for their employees. And the other thing that we could think of is the water. Well, that's recycled. They install a system that cleans, filters, and reuses the water. So while the city of Brownsville is up in arms for all these blue waves and Cash Five or Take Five, I think they're everywhere, and it's not just an issue that Brownsville is having. It's the Lower Rio Grande Valley. It's throughout Texas, possibly even through the United States. And while the city of Brownsville is advising its residents to preserve the consumption of water, and we might think, "Oh, well, what the heck? They're not doing it. Why should we? Why are you limiting us and not a business?" Well, the issue is that they recycle. They do a good job of recycling, and they don't really spend. spend money on water. Now, this we are fastly approaching the festivities for this week. Sombrero Fest will start on Thursday all the way to Sunday afternoon, and the our friends at the Dive Shots uh, 80s bar Doghouse, they do invite us to the best after party. Make your reservations today, 956-338-6815. I'm not sure if the famous Bronco 956 will be in appearance, but you are guaranteed to have a fun night. So if you want a place where you can go hang out, eat some tacos, and visit the different establishments in the area, make sure you stop by with our friends for the best after party. Well, not only is Bronco coming down to Sombrero, we did find that our president, well, your president, no, our president. President Biden will be traveling to Brownsville to meet with Border Patrol agents, law enforcement, and local leaders. It is important to see our commander in chief in this area, as we all know. We last had, I believe, President Obama visit. We have had President Trump um, visit the Edinburgh McAllen area. And as we all know, Brownsville predominantly is blue at heart. But once we start going up the valley, Edinburgh, McAllen, Far, they're red. We McAllen just recently had its first Republican mayor in, I want to say, the history of the city. We have been seeing many individuals disenfranchised with the border crisis that has been plaguing us. It seems as if this administration has had um, more attention to Ukraine, Russia, other matters than what's in its own backyard. We can all agree this is a humanitarian crisis. To have the president come down to our city is something great. It will put a spotlight on our city. Unfortunately, it's going to be a spotlight that is too little, too late. And again, you're darn if you do, damn if you don't, right? But nothing has been done. We haven't heard any concrete goals that are going to help us solidify our borders, make sure that we do take care of veterans, take care of our homeless population, take care of United States citizens. Again, I'm all for the American dream. I think we all are, based on our ancestry. But this is a humanitarian crisis that has not been addressed, and this isn't just this president's fault. It goes back all the way to the Reagan eras. It seems as if every administration has kicked the can down to the next administration, and we haven't had any concrete solutions, any positive solutions in regards to this issue. So we do welcome President Biden to come. It is more a PR stunt, trying to rally his crowd. He has a strong base here in the city of Brownsville, getting ready for the November elections. But it is interesting to have the President of the United States visit your city. It is a very, very big deal. And while President Biden will be in our city. Papi Trump is also visiting a border town. He will be in Eagle Pass today, this afternoon, also to speak with law enforcement officials, representatives. Hopefully, this issue will be addressed in the very near future. Now, if you are in need of a dentist, we highly recommend our friends at All Valley Smiles. They are located on 5850 Ruben Torres, Suite C3. Their contact information is 956-832-0050. If you have any cleanings, your family needs dentures, extractions, crowns, bridges, our friends at All Valley Smiles will be able to assist you. 956-832-0050. Now, uh, for our feature story. Uh, we titled this Bond 2.0. Back in October, back in early October, we did run a story that a board member was having an affair with a BISD employee. Now, while we aren't here to judge an individual for their personal lives, here at Good Morning Brownsville, we always focus on elected officials and um, their behavior, how they operate when they're in that entrusted seat. We spoke about how this individual was using his position as a board member to promise a job to a subordinate or an employee, something that is forbidden. Now, why is it forbidden? Just like any multi-million dollar company or just like any business, you prefer for colleagues, individuals that work together, to avoid this sort of fraternization because it could lead to um, tension in the workplace. It could lead to turmoil. It could break families' lives. Now, our focal point wasn't so much the was the affair, but it was how this individual acted. Now, again, we here hold elected officials to a higher standard because we entrusted them with that vote, and we expect them to act accordingly, to do what is ever in the district's best interest and not theirs. And I would like to talk about how this individual is set to run for an elected seat, and how his behavior, how his decisions at his current position as a school board member do not look good on him to be entrusted with an even, I would dare say, an even bigger responsibility, that is being the tax assessor collector. Um, Again, the issue here is not having an affair. While that is looked down upon and that is more of a personal for the family to deal with, we're here to talk about how this unfolded and how this affected BISD employees and families. And that is what we're here to discuss. This that I present to you is an email, that was sent to various individuals regarding um, a complaint. Here we have the FNS director who did email HR and wanted to put in on the record of her experiences with board member Eddie Garcia. It was said throughout this, and this is posted on several pages on Facebook. Um, Board member Garcia did go to the FNS department where he had his lover. And the interesting thing here was of the documentation. And he talks about her as esta muchachita. Who is he talking about specifically? Rosa. It got to a point, ladies and gentlemen, where individuals felt uncomfortable even having to deal with this issue. Now, again, you can say, who cares, right? This is their lives, right? But this is done right under the disguise of being a board member. And the interesting thing was throughout this complaint that was emailed, um, the individual stated, "The reason I am sharing my notes with you is because of the following reasons. This is not the first time that Mr. Garcia has expressed his desire for Ms. Herrera to be promoted or given responsibilities. Ms. Herrera has shared to me, and I'm here in the second dark bullet. Ms. Herrera has shared with me that Mr. Garcia was upset that I followed district policy and procedure and not fired her boyfriend." So here is a directive from a board member to fire another employee because he's hitting on his pan. An FNS custodian at Villanueva, a cafeteria manager, reported to a field supervisor that Mr. Garcia had picked up Ms. Herrera. Upon picking her up, Mr. Garcia had taken pictures of an FNS repair tech who had seen Ms. Herrera entering his car. The point here is that the employee felt intimidated by Mr. Garcia and Ms. Herrera. An FNS employee who wishes to remain anonymous reported to me that Ms. Herrera told her that Eddie Garcia promised me the job and they're going to have to choose me. And if I don't get the job, they're going to come after Jackie, the one who filed this complaint, and I'll have her job like I had every other director. Again, is this the conduct that a board member should take? That he's going to his lover's employment and striking fear in individuals? He took a picture of a worker that was looking at them. Why would somebody do that? To say, hey, if you say anything, I know who you are. I'm going to come after you. Are these the actions that we expect our board member to partake in? This sounds more like a high school beef for pan, right? Like, oh, I don't like you. I'm going to take a picture of you. And no, this is a BISD board member that is entrusted with a $500 million budget. You would think that he would be on his best behavior and represent the district in a good light, right? What other things qualify Mr. Garcia to be able to lead the Cameron County Commissioners Court? Well, we have seen firsthand how him being part of a majority has not done service to BISD. On the contrary, it has caused them financial repercussions. Earlier this month, it was reported that BISD is facing $16 million budget for this following upcoming school year. Now, our insiders do state, our friends do state that this $16 million is more like $20 million. And what can we attribute this to? Overspending. Whenever we have other people's money, you think we check the price tag? You think we check the ticket? No, we just sign off and write off. But when it's our money, whoa, where's that money going to? I want an accounting of this. Well, BISD and its majority has put the district in a huge financial burden, being in the hole $16 to $20 million. Now, while you might think that this is operational and they're going to shift numbers here and there to cook the books to make sure that we're above the red, this is due to overspending. Relationships between vendors and board members is very alarming. It seems as if these individuals enjoy using their position for vendors to take money, because at the end of the day, BISD doesn't pay. So this individual could only depend on these vendors to give donations because it's illegal. We just had a big corruption trial that put a black eye in the district. Eddie Garcia, based on his actions of acting like a high schooler, taking pictures of employees, directing a person to fire an employee because he's messing with his bond. Is that a good candidate to lead Cameron County? This individual has been known to enjoy being wined and dined by these vendors, and he makes it a mission to cozy up with them. Is this what you want from your elected official? To go to the highest bidder? Whoever gives me the most money, I'll bend over for you. Is this what we expect from our Cameron County tax assessor? Here we have a vendor at his campaign rally. Now, again, is anything that these individuals do illegal? No, per se, but they have a good way of making sure that he is well compensated for bringing them back into BISD with a multi-million-dollar contract. And these relationships that these individuals have with these vendors is very alarming. Now, again, I repeat, is this illegal? No, it's not illegal, but the appearance the appearance of impropriety, right? The notion that we see an elected official being wined and dined to Houston Cougars games, to Astros games, to UT games. Is this individual on the take? Does he go to the highest bidder? Now, again, we are not saying that what they do is illegal, but it does make you scratch your head, right? And again, we were shown this. We have a state district judge that is promoting Machretti Garcia in his quest to become the tax assessor collector for the county. Now, a district judge, a sitting district judge, cannot cannot endorse a candidate. Now, we understand that there have been in the past these instances, but we have documentation, we have state commission rules, the canons, because they've received complaints of judges endorsing candidates for public office. A canon to be states a judge shall not lend the prestige of judicial office to advance the private interests of the judge or others. A judge cannot authorize the public use of his or her name endorsing another candidate. Now, again, this individual is set to become the tax assessor collector for Cameron County. Our experience with him as a BISD board member has not been in a positive light. We have seen that he has used his position to have sexual affairs with employees. He directed individuals to make sure that she gets a job, to make sure that her boyfriend is fired because he doesn't like that. He takes pictures and instills fear in BISD employees. And here he wants to be or head Cameron County, where he will be entrusted with hundreds, if not 1,000 employees throughout the county. Imagine how much he's salivating for all that pan. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. AI, Terminator, RoboCop. Is this the beginning of the end of our normal lives? It seems as if AI in the next 20 years will be something that we will say, why do we do this? This is the worst thing that could have happened to us normies. Car washes, no more car washes. The city of Brownsville, through its planning and zoning committee in March, will be limiting car washes in the city. We have learned that these car washes are actually a good return of investment because these establishments recycle the water. They don't really use large consumptions of water. We also have Papi Biden that will be coming to BrownTown on Thursday. We hope that he stays for the Sombrero Fest festivities and possibly even eats a Speedo Papa. We'll be fortunate enough to have him if he is in our local area. And also, PAN 2.0, we have a school board member that has put the district in a financial strain, being $16 to $20 million in the hole. We've seen that he's on the take. He's being wined and dined by all these vendors that have no issue giving him money as a tax assessor collector. And also him having an affair and using his position to make sure that his PAN gets a good job for the district to fire the PAN's ex-boyfriend because that's his PAN. And also taking pictures of an employee, striking fear, acting like a high schooler. Again, is this what we expect from our elected officials? It is Tuesday, February 27th, 9:02 a.m. My name is Frank Olivo. This is Good Morning Brownsville, and I'll see you whenever I see you. Peace.